The next step we're going to work on here is step number 24, installing the servo. Go ahead and choose a servo. The stock servo, I believe, on the ready to run is 150 ounces of torque, and it's adequate. So you can go ahead and get one that you're going to use from the stock. Whoa, I need to learn how to talk here. You can get the stock one that comes with the ready to run, or you can choose another servo. Not an endorsement or anything, however, we're using a Savox servo, and it has 260 ounces of torque, something like that, and it is a digital metal gear servo. Choose what you want to use. So what we're going to do to install this is make sure that the servo horn portion, or the shaft that sticks up, goes towards the front of the vehicle as we put it in, and we're going to drop it into this space right here. You are going to need to fold the cord underneath, and it will exit out the little hole here, just like so. Go ahead and put it in, and we're going to use the 4 screws to hold it in that have an enlarged flat head on them. And there's 4 of them that go in there, 1 on each of the wings for the servo. We'll go ahead and install these. I had picked up a servo that was in my pit box, and it's interesting because where is the servo? The servo is actually too tall. So I had to go over to my local hardware store, or my local hobby shop I should say, which is jphracing.com, Jake's Performance Hobbies in Rohnert Park, California, and he had this one in stock. So we're going to use it. It is rated at 7.4 volts with 277 ounces of torque. Now, the only thing I'm not sure about is what the BEC is set at on the ESC that we're going to be using. And, oops, sorry about the headshot there. The other question that I have on that is the BEC adjustable on the Axial ESC that we're going to be using? So I'm not going to somebody's horn. The rating is at 7.2 volts, and it might be less than the advertised rating if the BEC is only at 6 something volts. So again, it is, even at that, it is a higher torque than the stock servo. Get this last one in here, and we'll move on to the next part of this step, which is installing the little cover that goes over the wire so it doesn't get caught up in the drive shaft. Okay, so we have those in snug. That's how it should look and fit in. Now what we're going to do, I'm just going to move that drive shaft over a little bit, and we're going to lay the cable for this down inside the track right here. And I'm looking at the cable, and that doesn't leave me awful. Oh, actually, it's going to go over here. Never mind. I was going to say it didn't leave us a lot of room for to plug it in, but I was going into the wrong spot. Go ahead and grab this little piece right here, which you can see in the directions, and the piece number is AXA 31021-2. Make sure you don't get it mixed up with the -3, because they are a slightly different size. You're going to see a hole in the chassis here, and another one here that this sets on top of and screws into to hold that out of the way so it doesn't get eaten up by the drive shaft. We're going to use the 2 small button heads to hold that on. See if we can gracefully do this. There we go. Whoop, maybe not. What I'm not understanding on some of these parts is they don't have a pass-through hole. So it's actually threading into the hole on this part and then into the hole in the chassis rather than just sliding through this part and threading into the chassis. I don't know if that was an oversight on their part or if there's actually a reason for that. Alright, so get this threaded in and I'll show you what it looks like up close and we'll move on to the next step. Almost done. Okay. Move the dry shaft over. This is what it looks like. And this is going to go up over into here at the end of the day. Alright, let's get out our pieces and parts and move on to step number 25. Alright, on to step number 25. The first thing that you're going to need to do is to choose your servo horn. And if you look on your tree, which is AX8006, you're going to see that there are 3 different servo horns. You have horn number 1, 2, and 3. And if you look down here on your chart, it's going to show you that for Airtronics, JR, or the KO, you're going to use horn number 1. For high tech, you're going to use horn number 2. For Futaba, or I believe that Axial uses Futaba, or the Savox, you're going to use horn number 3. Your other option is to get a metal horn. I'm going to use a metal horn. I don't have the Axial metal horn, but with the bigger scale stuff, I always try to shy away from the plastic ones, but they will work just fine. So I have a non-brand metal horn here that we are going to use. So go ahead and, just like we did with the other tie rods, go ahead and build the steering linkage. The only difference with this one is that you will use the metal swivel balls rather than plastic ones, and they were in your plastic bags. You are going to want to make sure that one of the swivels, the flat section, is up, and on the other side, the swivel, the flat section, is down. So you want those to be opposed. Put them on your sheet, mark them out to the 30 millimeters, and we're going to be all set to go. We're going to want to mount the steering to the arm before we put it in, because the linkage mounts to the bottom and it's going to be difficult to get it in if or actually you won't be able to get it on while the servo arm is on. So go ahead and get a 18 millimeter button screw, and we are going to insert that through one of the ends, and we're going to insert it in where this was the flanged side of the ball. Excuse me, we're going to slip it in the opposite side so the flanged side of the ball is to the top. Then we're going to grab the spacer, which is AXA133, no, it's AXA10223, which is just a little plastic spacer. We're going to slide that on. And then we are going to go ahead and mount the steering linkage from the underside of the servo horn. Go ahead and get that screwed on, and then follow up with the nylock nut. My horn is threaded. Yours may or may not be. Put that on, find our little tool here, put it on the rest of the way. Guess it actually helps to hold it with a wrench. Well, I'm struggling today, folks. I don't know why, but I am. Go ahead and tighten that up. You don't want to go too tight, just till everything touches. It is a nylock nut, so that's not going to be coming off, and just make sure everything is free. And that is the end of step number 25.